Welcome back, and we are going to talk about one specific topic today. It seems that the dosages of the vaccine are low. People are being pushed back on their dosages, on their second dosages, and some people can't get their first dose. And so I want to talk about a vaccine that's been already put before the FDA for emergency use authorization, and this could make a difference if this vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, is given the EUA. And that's what we want to talk about today. When we look at the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, there are some significant differences when you compare it to Moderna and Pfizer. First of all, it's one shot, one injection. That sounds like a great thing. Secondly, it can be stored at refrigerator temperature, and so that means that more than likely get it out to more providers, primary care physicians, and more places because the minus 70 degrees and the minus 20 degrees environments that the Moderna and Pfizer have to be kept in to be stable, we won't have to deal with the Johnson & Johnson. Let's talk about the efficacy of the Johnson & Johnson. Because I think that's where we see the biggest difference, or the questions may come up. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a different type of vaccine. It's not a messenger RNA as Pfizer and Moderna. It's a DNA vaccine. And what they do in the process is they take an adenovirus, which is a virus that has been neutralized. It's not harmful to our bodies, but they take that virus and they take the DNA out of the virus. They splice the DNA and put the messenger RNA that matches the spike protein. They put that back into the adenovirus and they make a vaccine. And that vaccine is given just like Moderna and Pfizer. When it gets into the body, it's a little different because it goes into the nucleus. The nucleus of the cell then produces messenger RNA. The messenger RNA from that point on is exactly like Moderna and Pfizer. The messenger RNA goes into the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is where the protein to match the spike protein is made. That protein drifts out of the cytoplasm. The body produces the antibodies to that protein, which that protein is matches up with the spike protein on the virus. So now the body is making antibodies to destroy the virus's spike protein. And so you can see that it's a little different, but the end result is that we still are forming antibodies against the spike protein. How effective is this vaccine? I mean, because we all know that Moderna and Pfizer, Moderna 94% effective, Pfizer 95% effective. We've never seen vaccines that effective. So Johnson & Johnson, a little bit different. Overall is 66% effective. Of all the participants in the Johnson & Johnson trial, there was only 1% of the participants acquired COVID-19, 1%. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to take into consideration. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine was done in the environment of these variants. A couple of the variants have really caught the concern, or have the concern of researchers all over the country, all over the world. So they took participants from South Africa, where you had the one variant that seemed to be very virulent. So some of their participants included participants from South Africa. They also took participants from the UK, and they also had participants from the United States. When Pfizer and Moderna did their clinical trial, they were just dealing with the COVID, the first COVID-19, the COVID-19 that we all kind of knew and know about. Since then, we had these variants, these mutants of the COVID-19. Johnson & Johnson's results come from a mixture of the old COVID-19, if you will, and also these variants that seem to be very challenging to the antibodies. None of the people were hospitalized or died from after getting the vaccine. So that's a real significant point. When we look at that, although the efficacy of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 66%, it was done in a different environment with viruses that were variants and mutants. And from the people from the United States, they had people from the United States, their efficacy came out to about 72% with this new vaccine from Johnson & Johnson. They had an overall efficacy of 66%. Not bad, actually pretty good. Again, if you look back at the influenza virus that we get every year, it's about 50% effective. And most people that get the influenza vaccine don't acquire the flu. Another point with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that they're looking at is, or that they looked at, was at day 28, 85% of the people that were involved had no hospitalizations, no deaths with the vaccine. They're thinking and they're surmising that at day 49, 100% of the people that got the vaccine will not enter into a hospital and will not have, and there won't be any deaths from the new vaccine. So overall, when you look at this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it really looks like a good vaccine to put a halt to this COVID-19, the SARS-2 COVID-19 virus. And that's what we need now. That's what we need right about now. What we have to do is people have to get the vaccine. We have to get to herd immunity so this virus, not just the United States, and I know this sounds like we don't have control over the whole world, which we don't, but we have to start with ourselves, and we have to start, each person has to try to get the vaccine. They're saying that there will be 200 million dosages of Moderna and Pfizer by sometime in March, and now we got the Johnson & Johnson. It seems like we're maybe having problems with systems in place. This is all new for everyone, but it sounds like help is on the way. Dosages of vaccine are on the way. Once we reach herd immunity, the virus can't go into these different human bodies and replicate and mutate and get the variant strains and all of the different forms. A lot of researchers are talking about mixing different vaccines, like a vaccine that covered the first COVID-19 and then one that covers the variant. But the variants won't get out of hand if we get vaccinated. We need to get vaccinated, not only in Columbus, Ohio, but in the United States. Our country needs to help these other poor countries to get the vaccine. Because if they don't get vaccinated and they get this weird variant, remember this started in China and now it's all over the world. And so if there's a country that's poor and they can't afford to get the vaccines, we have to come together and help those countries, help those people that can't get the vaccine, because we don't want the variants, the mutations, because it could mean death and disaster for all of us. And it could mean we could be sitting in the same position next year this time. If you have comments, please make them in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a like, and so we can continue to do weekly updates. And if you want to become a subscriber to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in 1 week. Thanks. Have a good day.